So it's 4:30 now. Perhaps we should get started. So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining today, the not to be missed career talk on digital marketing. So today we're going to have a very busy agenda. We have invited our executive committee of IAB Hong Kong, Mr. Arthur Chan, to give us the opening, and followed by our 4 speakers, namely Emily Chow, the general manager of OneDegree Hong Kong, who will be sharing with us the digital marketing landscape in Hong Kong, followed by 3 very seasoned marketers coming from different field of marketing agencies, including Rudi Leung, the director and founder at Hungry Digital, Sharon, general manager of Starcom, Edison Wu, the regional VP of organization development APAC at Assembly, and then followed by R&A. And most importantly, we're going to have a briefing of what is it going to be like at our apprentice program. So I would like to invite Mr. Arthur Chan to give us the opening speech. Thank you, Arthur.
Hello, everyone. This is Arthur. So I assume everyone could hear me. 大家好，我係 Alpha. 大家好，我是 Arthur. So today I'm going to present in English. So personally, I'm from VPON Big Data Group. I'm the CEO of the company, and currently I'm the executive committee in IAB as well. So before we start, I would like to give you some ideas about who we are, who is IAB, and what's the purpose of this organization. So IAB, in fact, we have the headquarters from US, and we have our branches office in IAB in Hong Kong region, and we actually a non-profit making associations. So our main vision will be more focusing on enhancing the industry standards and develop the best practice in digital marketing field. But despite or on top of the digital marketing business, we in the recent year, we actually have broadened our coverage to like data measurement and actually e-commerce environment. So I would say from a very generic standpoint, for any types of business related to digital or internet, actually could fall under IAB umbrella. So, and you could see the distribution of our members here. Next slide, please. Okay, so our core members, you see quite a lot of famous names here, like Meta, Google, Yahoo, SCMP, Adobe, McDonald's. So we have a very comprehensive coverage of memberships. So including brands and advertisers, digital agencies, platforms, data companies, tech companies. So I think today or in the 2 coming career talks, we're going to provide you a very comprehensive understanding of what's the entire ecosystem of the digital world or digital industry in Hong Kong. All right, so I think that's the brief introduction of IAB. So today we have our honor to have Emily as a representative from direct client standpoint, and some members from agency standpoints to give you a true understanding of what's the daily business in our industries. So before we kickstart, let me give you some little story about myself, okay? Because we have collected a lot of questions from students, and some of them actually asking, hey, if I am not major in marketing, so would that be possible for me to join the industry? Or I am actually don't speaking Cantonese, so can I join the digital industry in Hong Kong? So the answer is definitely yes, because for your information, I'm not major in marketing and not major in IT or anything related to advertising or digital in universities. So in fact, I accidentally joined the industry back to like 12, 13 years ago, start from my career as a part-time sales in this industry. So of course, with years of hard work, eventually I turned my career and development in this industry. So I would say the digital industry is actually full of possibility. So to understand more now, I would like to pass the time to Emily. So you have a more comprehensive understanding about the digital marketing landscape in Hong Kong. So Emily, please.
Hi, everyone. I think you can hear me, right? I'm Emily. I actually work in both advertising and also marketing industry for some years, and actually more on the marketing side. So I could give you a more vivid picture on how it is like for working in the marketing side for the digital marketing part especially. And then actually in my past 20 years, I actually have more experience on banking and finance. And recently I moved on to insurance as well. And I have more experience on the fintech side because I work in, apart from Prime Credit, which is a very traditional financing company. I think some of you may heard of Onsun Hengdai. This is actually one of my representative campaign I have done before. And then I move on to Weland. For Weland, this is actually a fintech company working on financing product in Hong Kong. And then I changed to virtual bank. I had worked in Willab Bank and also in Airstar Bank before for building a bank in Hong Kong. And then now I'm actually at OneDegree Hong Kong, which is a virtual insurance company. So my whole journey is actually very adventurous. Then some of you may, I actually, many students actually also ask me about what if I want to have start my career in marketing side? Actually, what shall I consider, and then what is the starting point for that? I think if you would like to start your career in digital marketing part, you can first think about whether you want to join the agency side or the client side. It's actually totally different perspective. I am going to elaborate a little bit on that. Okay. Okay. To start with, for the agency side, agency actually it could also be divided into two parts. One is mainly on the media part, and then the other one is actually on the creative part. On the media part, for media part, there are also two different streams. You also need to think about whether you want to be a generalist, like an account servicing, or whether you want to be a specialist. That is to be really specialized in one or two things. For example, on the search part, or on the Facebook performance part, or on the programmatic part. This is actually all these things. It could be very, very, very specialist thing, but it also could be a very generalized things. And for digital marketing, I would actually, from the agency side, there are also different kind of digital media agency. There are some agencies really only work on performance part. And for example, on the SEM and then maybe SEO as well. And then for the social media part, there are also different kind of social media. Some company would actually really focusing on the social media creative, and then some actually only work on the neutralization and also the social listening part to help neutralize the contents on the internet. And then for the SEO, it's another kind of specialist. So you need to think about whether you want to be a generalist to know a little bit of each of the things, or to be really specialized and to drill into very deeper part of each STEM. And then okay, hold on. The slide actually goes really a bit slow. Okay, for the digital creative part, there are also two kind of agencies. Some agencies, they actually work for really integrated campaign. They're not only working for the social media, they are like work for the whole branding campaign for the client. But nowadays, because the whole media is actually quite digital driven, and so some traditional branding company, they would also focus really much on the digital side to run a branding campaign for the client. And then the other part is some agency actually only focus on the social media content to drive the social engagement for their marketing. So you need to think about whether you want to develop a brand for the client, or you want it actually to help promoting the engagement for the social media, account for the company. One of the examples is actually like IKEA. I think some of you may also know about how popular IKEA social media is on the account, and then actually especially recently, their household post is really fast. So for this kind of agency, they may not drill into the performance of each of the posts. They may not really study the brand DNA for the client, but they would be very focused on the social media creative for the customers, for the client, for the marketing. And then on the other side, this is on the marketing side. If I'm not on the agency part, what if I go to marketing part, and if I want to develop myself on digital perspective, then what can I choose? Again, some marketing is actually of a bigger size, but some marketing is actually only 2 or 3 people, and then they do everything for a company. And just like when I was in my previous company, we just have actually 5 people to run the whole marketing department. And then we have 1 people really specialized in social media, and then 1 people really specialized in performance. Another one is actually they doing a lot of different markup thing. But for example, for the social media people, she actually has to be very social generalist as well, because apart from the social media account, she also needs to work on the other things like social listening, social neutralization, and also the website content, and also the SEO thing. But for my current company, is totally in different structure, because for current company, I would have 1 person really specialized in content, and then he will work on the SEO as well. And then I have another person who is actually really specialized in social media. And this person only work on social media creative part, and he won't touch on the social media performance part. But for some traditional company, like some really long history company, they may actually have, they may not have a person to be very specialized in social media, but they will have a marketing manager to run a 360 campaign. And then this marketing manager, she will have to work on everything from the above the line, the TVC, the social media and non-social media, and even the PR thing as well. So this is the difference between the generalist and also the specialist. And then for the specialists, some company would divide it into SEO, social media, and performance marketing. But one of the things that you have to consider is, no matter this is an agency side or client side that you would consider about, this is actually, I would say this is a teamwork as well. The difference is like, if you are working on the agency side, all the campaign is actually on one-off basis. Even if you're having a long-term relationship with your client, what you can see is actually only on a very limited perspective of the business only. Like maybe you can understand the website traffic to it. You can also understand the conversion funnel. But when it comes to ROI, you may not get the full picture. And then why the product is structured like this, you may not have the full picture. So if you want to be if you are more interested on the digital performance part or the creative idea part, and you may be bored with single part only, then you can consider about to try to build up your career from the agency side. But if you want to have a more full picture, more holistic view on how a business is run, and digital media is actually only one of the things, but you also want to understand how the product is built like this, and how the company make profits out of it, then maybe marketing is more suitable for you. For agency and also for the client side, I would say the flow is like, usually as a client, you need to prepare a really very well prepared brief to your agency. Like you have to put your objective on the agency brief. You need to tell your agency what you want to achieve and what is the product about, what is your target audience, what is the insight. You need to give a very clear picture to your agency. And then both sides would, they would actually, the agency would brainstorm internally on what we should prepare for to address the client's need, and then they will present the idea to the client, and then they can actually execute the plan. The step is actually very simple. But on the client side, this is actually much more complicated. If we need to launch a new product or need to launch a new promotion, then a client actually, they need to work with this different department. For example, their operation department, the compliance department, the finance department. You need to manage a lot of different stakeholders, and you need to stand from their point of view to understand they are concerned about. And once you fix up all the concerns from other departments, then you have the product. And when you have the product and promotion, you then start to think about how should I present it to the market. And at that point in time, you would have an idea on what you should brief to your agency. And this is only the starting point of the campaign. So when you think about whether you want to be on the client side or the agency side, you need to think about whether you want to be a specialist or a generalist. And then also whether you want to have end-to-end business point of view, or you actually would like to be exposed in different product, different market. So this is the things I think you need to think about. But after all, agency or client is actually a teamwork. So no matter where you're starting from, you need to understand your personal preference, your personality, and then you choose your way. Some people would actually, they would like to start their career on the agency side to expose more, to learn more from different industry. When they have more understanding on build more experience from more industry, they would they would change their career path to a marketing side. Then they could be more to understand a business from end to end. So you may also consider things from this way. So that's all for my part.
Thank you very much, Emily. So you have a great presentation giving us a good understanding of what the landscape in Hong Kong is like. So now let's dive into the agency a little bit more, and we are going to have Mr. Rudi Leung, the founder and director of Hungry Digital, who will be sharing with us more about career in production and creativity. So I'll pass the floor to you, Rudi.
Hi, everyone. Can you make me the co-host? Thank you. I couldn't share my slide. Can you make me the co-host? Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, let me figure out this first. Hi, everyone. My name is Rudi. I'm representing the creative agency side to share with you about the career in this sector. So quickly introduction about myself. I always make this analogy. If I can make it in advertising, I think anyone, whatever your major is, you can make it too. I started studying in Academy for Performing Art as a music major student, and then I switched to Chinese U to study music as well. But after I worked in the industry for around 12 years, I took a sabbatical leave for a year, and then went back to school in the US. And then after I returned, I studied part-time at Hong Kong University for MBA. So this is my career path. after my graduation, my first job was a reporter in Economic Times, and then I started as an account executive in a graphic house. Then I started my advertising career as a copywriter. Since then, the first around 12 years of my career were mostly on the creative side, and then after in the last 17 years, I switched to the digital side. I started as I would say it's actually a media sales role. I worked at the Yahoo, helping the media sales team for their strategy, and then I started working in a media agency, and then I returned to creative agencies. I do more like a manager role. After that, 6 years ago, I started my ad agency. So the career path, I want to show you that everyone should have like a very unique creative career path, just like mine. You don't need to follow everyone's path, because I don't think anyone will have a similar path like I have. So I started as a copywriter in Ogilvy, and then like typical creative agency path, senior writer, creative group head, and then creative director. Second half of my career, I'm mostly on the digital side, from working for the Yahoo sales media team, and then I switched to the media agency side, and also more like a managerial role in other voice agency. Then I started my own agency 6 years ago. So today's agenda, I want to quickly show you what we do as a digital creative agency, and I also will give you a glimpse about what the modern ad agency creative, especially on the creative agency side, what is it, how what they do, and how it's structured these days, what's the trend as well. And lastly, I will show you like I will give you some advice about how can you develop a career path in the digital advertising industry. So this is some of the works that my agency have done. We work mostly for Fortune 500 brands like BMW, Philips, Shiseido, and so on, AIA, and so on. I also work for some startup. Pinkoi is one of our startup clients. We helped them for a brand campaign before. These are some of my clients. I also work for finance and banking, Cigna, Standard Chartered, Jump Credit as well. Another local clients is Fairwood. They are also one of our clients. Another startup is Carousel. So I want to show you our creative show wheel to give you an idea what digital creative agency does. So we call ourselves a digital agency, but you can tell our work started from like really like with digital driven, like website, display ad, social media ad, and also a lot of video content these days. But we also adapt our creative content to other media as well, like outdoor, like some installation as well. I don't have enough time, so I might not show you the other work that we have done. If you have time, please visit our company website. It can be easily found. So the next part, I want to tell you a little bit more about like how's the modern ad agencies work, because it has changed a lot in the, I think in the last 10 to 15 years. The lines at getting blur and blur. Regardless, media agency or creative agency, both sides, they are trying to steal the work from each other, literally. So, but digital is everybody's business. Okay, I still remember when I started working in digital like 17 years ago. Back then, I was creative director at TBWA, one of the voice creative agency in Hong Kong. Back then, none of this big creative agency or even media agency, they don't take like digital seriously back then, like 17 years ago. But nowadays, every agency, they will tell you they will do digital, regardless media or creative agency. So because digital is everybody's business. I give you an example as our company. What do we do? So you might have seen a lot of video content from our show reel. We also do TV commercials these days because a lot of clients start to like reconsider using TV as a media these days. So we start to have like more TV commercial these days, video commercial, but I won't call it TV commercial anymore because the media scene is getting so fragmented. It's not just TV. Sometimes also like for outdoor digital panel and on online social and YouTube and so on. So I will just call it video commercials. Video content, we have done a lot for like online display ads, sometimes also video driven. Okay, brand corporate website, they need a lot of content, not just like TV commercial, video commercial. Probably sometimes they want something more like a documentary style of content, video content. So I just call it video commercials. Okay. Photos, where we do a lot of visual driven content as well. So photo is part of we produce a lot of photo content for our clients. Interactive creative is beside the website, app development, digital installation is getting less because of the pandemic, but still interactive creative, online creative, we are still doing a lot. These days, probably some clients start to do something like IG stickers, IG filters. Instagram just launched the Reels, so we are also like producing content like this for our clients. Brand consultancy business is part of our side business. We also help some smaller brands to help them to develop brand identity and some brand graphic design for them as well, especially for the local client. Okay, so these are some of the services that we provide. I think a lot of digital creative agency or creative agency like us, they are also providing similar services. Okay, what is a typical marketing or advertising agency these days? Still, that they're like, I will categorize. They have three types, major types. Actually, there are more, but these are the three major ones. Still, international agency network, like those OneDegree, TBWA, New Burnett, that type of international agency network. Still, they are still quite big and solid in different market. Independent agency like us, not necessarily like us. We call ourselves like a boutique agency. We only have 14 members, but I also know some of our people in our industry, like independent agency. They have over 100 people. So there are many independent agency. They are sometimes they are even bigger than the international agency network in the local their local presence. And the third type is called consulting agency. I will explain to you a little bit later. Because you are not in the industry yet, you might have no idea why consulting agency like Deloitte, PwC, they used to be like one of these big four, like accounting agencies. How come they are tapping into advertising agency business? But actually, this is the case. Exactly what is happening. So international agency network, usually these big 6 conglomerate agency advertising groups. So you can consider one of these. They under each of these, they have many agency under them. International agency network, they have many types, but these are the like major types. PR agency, they still hire creative agents, creative people, or media people these days. Media agency, they hire creative people. Okay, integrated creative agency, they not only working for creative, they also hire media people. Okay, the expertise is getting a lot of how should I say this? A lot of talents exchange in different discipline, because everyone wants to do other people's work. That's my analogy. So if I were you, if this is my first job, it doesn't really matter whichever path you can start. Just start it first, because you will never know, because the line is getting blurred. Okay. Independent agency are more like more like a specialist agency. They will be more specialized in certain area. Our case is a little bit rare because the way we work, they try not to be like a special, too specialized on one area. We just follow our clients' requests and then develop things that we think that we need to do. So we are more like a generalist creative agency. But in the independent agency world, there are more cases that they are like specialty in different area. Okay, like a social media agency, or PR agency, or brand design agency. So a lot of them exist in the market. Some of them are quite big. Not necessarily independent agency means they are small. Okay. Consulting agency, I just mentioned earlier. Some of the big four, okay, all the big fours, they also have their consulting agency business. They besides accounting service, they also serve the clients for their digital creative, especially. Okay. Okay, okay, can I continue? Okay, the last part I want to talk about, developing a career in digital advertising. So the first thing, if you want to be a creative, it's a must. Just a CV is not good enough. You need to have a portfolio to show us your work, the passion about it. It doesn't really matter whether you study what your major is. Can you show us your work? I think it's more important. You have to develop your portfolio. Okay, in-house versus agency, whichever path works, I think doesn't really matter. For example, like me, I started as a reporter. I also can find my own path to go back to the things that I'm passionate in. So it doesn't matter. But I think these days, because a lot of from the client side, they also want to have their own in-house creative or media specialists, helping them to develop their own content, develop their own creative materials. It's getting more common in I think even in Hong Kong. So if there's an opportunity, why not? Okay, especially those like e-commerce companies, they hire a lot of like in-house sort of like they are doing like the ad agency work, but in-house. Okay, whether in-house or agency, it doesn't really matter from my point of view. International agency or independent agency, same case. Whichever way you can start. I think the earlier the better. Don't overthink. If I were you, just follow the current. If the opportunity comes, you like the environment, just start. A lot of young people this day, they like to start straight to be their own boss. It's getting more and more common, especially in the creative production world. I know a couple of young talents, they start straight from school to start to have their video production house or even a photography studio. Okay, but everybody has their different reason to like run their business, or they need to have a job, stable job to get a stable income to help their family. I don't know you, so it doesn't really matter again. Okay, but these are the choices that you can consider. So a structure of a typical, like I would say, like a whole over 100 members digital agency will sort of look like this. They have a creative department. They have the technologist team, more like technical people. They have an account management team. They have the digital media team, and some of them even have a social media team as well. This is more like a full service digital agency. They exist in the independent agency world, mostly. International agencies, some of them, they have similar structure, but not many of them can be extensive like this. But this is the full scale, full service digital agency would like. So some people, like myself, I started as an account executive, and then I became a copywriter. I know some people started as a media executive and then became a creative director. Okay, so whatever you can start, just start first. Okay, you never know. I thought that I can be a good account management when I started. Then I realized I have some other talents. Then I became a creative. So the people that I have hired, their academic background are quite diverse too, because in the creative agency world, it's more about the talents rather than your academic background. So some people, like, of course, some of them, they study advertising and marketing, business administration, more like, I would call them like a core academic background, more relevant to the business world. But the non-core people, like, I just hired a video editor last year. She studied accounting. Okay, I hired someone studied chemistry before, literature, fine arts, healthcare, okay, psychology. Okay, these are the non-core people. They are not the majority, but I think at least 1/3 of them, they are non-core major. Okay, so my last advice, so if you really want to be work in a creative ad agency, no matter it's a digital or not digital, I think today we have to talk more about digital because it's AB. Okay, so keep building your portfolio, even you haven't found your job yet. Continue to build your portfolio. Don't tell me you don't have a chance to like build your portfolio. Help some NGO. A lot of NGO, they need people to help. Help your parents or uncle or auntie business for free to create some work for them. Initiate some personal project of your interest. Build a website, manage a social profile, do something. Don't just sit there and just apply jobs. It won't work this way. Keep building your portfolio. Okay. Try to apply for an internship or a trainee role that might pay really little or even zero for some agency. Not my agency, but some agency. They pay zero as for the trainee program. But it's still a good opportunity for you to learn and step into the industry first. So I think it's also important. Okay, I think I'm running out of time. Correct, Elvina?
You can have 5 more minutes. We started
Okay.
early.
Anyone will want to like? Okay, I saw some questions. Digital marketing needs graduate of visual art. Okay, the question is, does digital marketing need graduates of visual art? Yes, of course. I hired someone. His background is actually fine art. Okay, he is more like a visual art person, but he loves to do video. So he's actually my in-house director now. Okay. So it really depends on your passions. Don't overthink that, oh, whether I should study this and, you know, before I want to land on a job like this. Okay. Study is not most important, to be honest. But you need to have like a basic academic background to help you to have a foundations. But it won't guarantee. You need to have a solid creative skill experience before starting internship in this industry. I don't know how to define solid or not solid, but you have to show me some skills, such as you are good in photography, you like to do video, you can do video content. Even if you can shoot video nice, very nice on your iPhone, it's fine. Show me your work. I think it's important. Some hard skill will help. So that's why you should start building your portfolio, like learn how to build your website or run a social profile. I hire a lot of like young talents. They have a very nice IG profile. Can show me, demonstrate how good their sense of making visual content. Okay. May I ask what should be included in the portfolio, because I'm a student, have no actual practical experience? Okay. No practical experience is not an excuse for you to build a portfolio. You can build a portfolio from your own interests. Find topics that are of your interest, of your passion. Okay, build something. It's not necessary you have to build a campaign portfolio. I'm not talking about campaign portfolio. A portfolio that can demonstrate your artistic sense, your skills in creative productions, I think is more important. Okay, so should the portfolio be a PPT form or mostly used format of portfolio? I think in this day, okay, let me repeat the question again. Should the portfolio be in a PowerPoint format, or what is the mostly used format of a portfolio? I think this day everyone can create their own website, sometimes even for free. Okay, that's all of my part.
Thank you, Rudi. I think it's very encouraging. As I've said, I think with digital marketing, everyone can start anytime as long as they want it. You can all feel free to learn online and just practice it. And if you want to like learn in a more systematic program, please stay till the end of this session. We are going to talk a little bit more about IAB Hong Kong's apprentice program, which is actually the largest internship program on digital marketing in Hong Kong. And we are going to offer up to 100 jobs from over 30 companies. So now, thank you, Rudi. Now I would like to pass the floor to Ms. Sharon Leung, the General Manager of Starcom, to share a little bit more about media agency. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you here. I'm Sharon from Starcom. I'm the General Manager. Let me have a very brief introduction of myself first. I've been working in a number of media agencies in different roles, including team lead, content development, integrator and digital planning, strategy and communications, and also have once become the lead of creative and media team for multi-brand portfolio accounts. I've been working on MyShare, Starcom, RateMaker, Standard, and also the Brand Digital before. So yeah, let's go to our first part. To start with, what exactly is the role of media agency to help our clients to market the products? In the fast-changing digital marketing landscape, the media agency role keeps evolving. We go to the forefront of strategic insight and audience intelligence to help informing marketing and communications strategies and directions. So we are the brand advisors, strategic partner, linking the dots between brands and consumers with the complete data and tech references, being able to offer advice and guidance to our accounts on all consumers end-to-end touch points. So we can say that we are the conduit between brands and consumers. And then the other perspective is we are also the marketing and data analytics specialists, offering omni-channel strategies, the through-the-line approach with good solutions to our account business. The rest is sophisticated technologies and access to new data sets have made it easier than ever for agencies and marketers. Like the real-time analysis can let us deliver a personalized content for smaller subsets of consumers, and let us respond much more quickly to that performance. As an integrated data hub, sorry, we need to go back to the previous slide. Yeah, as an integrated data hub with diverse data sources, we enable data-driven marketing, coming up bespoke data solutions powered by data analytics, market research, and digital technology to create a consumer's experience that markets the products to the right audience and grows the account business. So I would say media agency right now is more in a role to integrate the media channels, data, technology, and also optimize with positions content that drives desired consumer actions. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. Yeah, so what we actually work with our accounts is actually start with the account brief. The account briefing sections was more in a one-way sharing some times ago, but of course right now there's still some client or agency work like this is more a one-way, can brief the agency and then agency deliver the proposal recommendations. But right now it's because digital marketing make data and tech references quite good. So we are more evolving our road and also the workflow. Right now, sometimes we give the a brief discussions and alignment on what the business objective and sales target should it be. We'll discuss about say the pool size of the target consumer is large enough for business sufficiency, or if there's any high value customer or source of business growth can be explored, or even one agency to give a budget simulations before the brief is confirmed. So you can see before the brief is confirmed and shared to agency, they already involve a discussions and also alignment things between agency and also the marketers. So seems somehow this role is more like an internal discussions. So we will say as more a extended arm of the marketing team. This way of working is really changing the agency role, another BN more extensions. So it's good to have that level of discussions and partnership to let agency actively participate in setting the marketing and campaign directions and have it aligned before we start to work. And this also can also, I would say, uplift the agency value and also role. Then once the brief is shared by the client and confirmed, we'll go back to agency internal team discussions and brainstorming, which involves different disciplines like planning, performance, content, buying teams, and we'll cover the discussions content will cover business, competitors, consumer assessments, setting the objective, KPI, and then the full funnel strategies, data audience framework, ideations, and even budget planning at last. So then have the proposal present to the client, discuss and make core revisions. When the recommendation is confirmed, we'll have the plan to prepare, activate, and optimize the results and deliver the performance. So we can move on to the next slide. Yeah, we talk about the agency workflow, but what exactly we work out. Here show a chart. I think it is quite typical, and also I try to make it a standardizations, but it's more focused on data-driven planning. Of course, it's not just limited to data-driven. It's because we used to have offline, on-offline integrations. There will be that part. But since today is more focused on digital marketing, so I'll talk about a data-driven planning approach and how we work it out. We integrate, segment, and give life to the data, turn it into powerful insights and smarter data-driven suggestions. So our work starts from unlock the data value from diverse data source, like what the data source we used to use include a syndicated research, data platform from different media channels, monitoring and measurement tools, analysis and put up the business and audience intelligence to uncover the business opportunities and becomes the implications to our planning. That is the first part. I would say normally what we say it internally is a set apart for the proposal. Then we move to develop the integrated full funnel strategies with segments, the media task, audience, data signal use, communication approach, and KPI from awareness to engagement and from purchase, which allows us to reach out the prospect and push them down the funnel for purchase. And here's the virtual part, is to integrate segment and onboard the data signals to well-define the target segments, which are viable and which are decisions and scale. It's because in the past, we just define the target using some abstract things like the psychographic, what they think or what they're thinking or what they will likely behave, what they like. But this may not be viable. But with I think the technology and also the data, now how we define target is more in a way that it can be viable and activate in the platform, say like Facebook platform or even the Google platform. The target segmentations can do from multi-dimensions like affinity, behavior, contextuals, purchase intents, or even the purchase data, and also some product ownership data. We'll then map this structured audience framework with a message matrix to make our recommendations relevant and effective. It's because when we segment the mass audience into different layers, we should have different message content to customize and fit their needs or what they are looking for, what they're interested. Otherwise, if you do a say audience segmentations, but it's just in one single creative message, then it won't make any change. We'll then use different attacks to reach, deliver, and measure the campaigns. That is programmatic and also integrate with the channel strategies and planning, of course, social, video, display, search, and also kind of owned platform like the website, the social page, the CRM, or even the store. We measure and evaluate the performance against the KPI, and then, of course, when everything is confirmed, we'll have the campaign launch. That is the activations part. And the executions. And during the process, we'll do in-campaign optimization in order to make sure that all the KPI stat and all the performance are on the right track. So after campaign finish, we'll have the measurements, we will the campaign performance, and also collect the data to enrich the wealth of data and knowledge and insights for the next campaign. So it means we keep going to grow the client first-party data, which can be used for say like retargeting for another campaign. Okay, then we go to the next slide. Talk about the process, but actually how it actually looks like. I mean how our works actually look like. So there's digital and data-led campaign planning, and then I here give you some examples of how and what we will do. For the very first part of the campaign recommendations, we'll have, like I mentioned before, is to unlock the value of the data. We'll have the situation analysis with insights derived from research tools, which include the syndicated research like Global Web Index, Edison, App Data Platform, or even some social listening platform, Facebook, Google Trends, and then this helps to enrich the audience intelligence, like how we fix and locate the effective touch points across different channels, the buzzwords or topics the consumers talk about of the brands. And this will also help to help for the content creations. We're also wide on the campaign objective, suggesting data solutions and partnerships. While we also leverage some F-format features to create our own data solutions. I'll take an example, like our laptop brands. We aim to convert the high propensity users. So we have suggested poll and form format, identify the hand raiser, and create the most latest in-market audience. It's because for in-market audience, which means who are ready to buy. Normally we have this audience definitions, maybe from some of the brands like Google's, but as a brand level, we can also create that for ourselves. This is one of the examples, say like you're planning to buy a laptop in the next 6 months. So we collect those data and then via a format, and then we can have specific message to reach and then trigger actions among this group of hand raisers and drive a business conversions. The other things of our job also includes platform suggestions, how we met the campaign objective with the platform and creative assets. An example is our account also wants to drive conversions, yet the campaign in nature is actually an awareness campaign. So the assets we have is mainly video with limited TV shows. So what we'll do to say like you pass the video, but which is not very trigger actions, but how we do to grow actions and also drive website traffic. So we'll leverage a clickable format, which is somehow like a interactive video in display, dynamic product ad, and so in order to drive more actions and traffic. That is kind of the work of such suggestions that we'll give to a account doing the proposal and then recommend then what is the best fit solutions for the kind of brands to go to business. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So with a very brief understanding of how we work, where we work. So to start a career in media, what is the first thing that we need to do? Firstly, I think from agency perspective, we'll evaluate the candidates from more a soft skilled level. So if you want to start and develop a career in media, the first thing is you need to have strong number sense. It's because it's media and also include budget data things, which means proficiency with numbers for data analysis and insight mining. As I will say, the first most important skill set that we look for. Working in agency, I think no surprise, good interpersonal and communication skill is always essential. Especially we're working against a much bigger scope now that we need to have collaborations with multidisciplines and parties. Curiosity is also important if you want to succeed in the media field. You need to be passionate, keen to explore and try new things, uncover the reasons behind and keep looking for the best possible solutions. So your curiosity to learn and try is the second most important things. Then the strategic thinking capabilities, potentials, little have objective-led mindset. Everything comes with a thought and reasons, and then be solution-centric. Creative thinking, though we are not a creative agency, but I think as what Rudi shared before, the light is actually burning. We also need to think creatively. Is because we always need to have media creativity, creative media ideas. So think creatively is also one of the capability that we will look for. Last, given the fast-changing landscape, data and technology should needs to have good working efficiency, multitasking with good time management. Is because you can see the multi roles, and also it's quite exciting that you are involved from say like the business planning, business assessment, research things, analysis, planning, and also campaign activations. So that's why handling multitasking and then with good time management is also, I think, one of the good things if they can have. So the last part is about, say, the career path in media agency. We have multidisciplines cover from, say, business leadership. It's more about business development, account development, integrated planning, activations and buying, insights and strategies, performance marketing, digital and content planning. Naturally, the hierarchy is somehow similar across those disciplines, but it would be more like from executive to planner, assistant manager, managers, directors, and also team lead. First joiners will be the executive levels, and mostly it will be integrated planning or digital planning, or maybe performance planning as well. Then they will move up to panel level managers and directors. But I think the first thing is join as a media executive and then see which areas that you want to develop or you have potentials or a better capability in that area. That is the way I think for some of the candidates or teammates, colleagues will explore. And also the other part is you have a broad spectrums, which is for each area you do involve. That pick one or two, which is more focused, like involved in our areas, that maybe more times or more efforts in content planning. It can be one of the routes in media agency right now. Yeah, that's my part of sharing. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I think giving us a great idea of what is interactive advertising, a very good sharing of the overall overview of the career path. So you can see here in the purple column that is talking about performance marketing. Let's drill in a little bit more here. We're going to have Edison, the regional VP of organization development at Assembly, to tell us a little bit more what do performance agency do. So I'll pass the floor to you, Edison.
Thank you, Alvina. Hi everyone, my name is Edison. Yeah, I know that you guys have been sitting since 3 p.m. till now, so I just want to be very straightforward because you have already heard from Rudi about the differentiation of different agencies. You also heard from Sharon in terms of the potential career you can get from a media agency. So whereby I grew my career from media agency all the way to performance agency. So basically, like what Rudi has been saying, the line is getting blurred. So basically, it's like every agency actually kind of like integrate with each other to help each other. So if you look at my entire career plan, actually I have been working for multiple agencies. So I grew my areas from client servicing to business management, then to the digital planning, and now actually with my new remit in the assembly, we'll be like helping the agency to create new structure, a new way of working in this exciting world of industry. So if Alvina can move in the next slide, that I will walk you through in terms of what does digital agency means. So in assembly, the key belief that what we always tell to our client that we help client to find a change that can empower you to fuel the growth for your business. So basically, it's like clients tell us that I give you $5, I want to get this $5 become $10. So it means that we need to spend $5 to make people to buy their product, so then we can generate in the $10 revenue. So to get the people to buy the $10 revenue means we need to find the change. So finding the change, it means that we need to look at the data, we need to look at the consumer insight, we need to look at the audience segmentation, then understand all these different moments or different things that we can do to find the change. Then we can pass back to the activation team, which is on your the bubble on your right hand side, to fuel the growth. So basically, this is a team to look at how we can activate the campaign in the search. So it's like your day-to-day when you do your Google search, when you do your Yahoo search, or your day-to-day you browse on your Instagram, you browse on your TikTok, or you browse on your Facebook. So basically, this is the plan. This is the area where we need to do the activation work. So overall, on the strategy or the activation, we always put the client on the media, because in these days, we always is a client-centric client planning, because every client is different. So all the work that we deliver to client is different. It's a bespoke service. So why we put a client in the media, just because the client, let's say the client selling Coca-Cola versus the client selling a luxury couture wear on internet, So the requirement in terms of the strategy or also the activation can be very different. That's why we put the client leadership in the middle. So in the next slide, I'm going to walk you through in terms of what do you mean the digital performance planning. So we are very different compared to branding. So we also look at client insight, but what we do is we look at funnel planning. Funnel planning in the sense that before someone need to buy a product, people need to understand I have the intention, need to buy a product. So if the person doesn't have intention, we need to create the intention. We need to create the moment why they need to buy the product. So that's why the whole funnel, as in like to discover the product until they make them arouse their interest to find why they need to buy a product, and make people feel like they will review it and people talk about a product before that we can really buy a product. So I'll give you one example. So let's say a company that's selling eyeglasses on internet. So you think about, oh, yes, I buy the keyword as in people have the short-sightedness. So that might not be the picture, because the thing is, someone have a blurry vision doesn't mean that the person will know I have the short-sightedness kind of issue. So maybe I just Google the ad that I can't see things clearly, or I see things very blurred. So I can't see things clearly or I see things very blurred become one of keyword you need to buy during your discovery stage. So basically, client always come to us to identify, as in like the journey for people to buy a product. Then we break down the journey by different funnel. So different funnel will come with different kind of strategy and also metrics to measure in terms of how we can tailor make that kind of strategy to the client. That's why on this slide, you can see that at the respective stage, that we have different KPI are being set to fulfill that kind of requirements. If I can zoom down even further from your day-to-day when you're browsing on your Hong Kong TV Mall, even like you're buying things from ASOS, they give you a better pictures. So if Elvina can move into the next slide. So in this next slide, that is your day-to-day client will always create this kind of web pages on your internet. So all the web pages basically is another funnel planning we have. So basically people go into a homepage. Let's say I need to buy a gray shirt on ASOS.com. So I need to go to ASOS.com and then I'll search, as in like I look for male t-shirt gray color. So that are the category page, product page we need to create. So once I found the type of gray shirt I want to buy, and then add on the shopping cart, and then there's a shopping cart page we need to create. So basically to put the whole funnel into e-commerce planning. So basically we need to understand how people shop. Day-to-day you've been shopping. So basically it's like how you apply your day-to-day shopping knowledge into this structure, and then you create that funnel to the clients. Of course, I'm not going into details in terms of every single page, what are the things you can track, what are the things we can optimize, because that is the most fun part working in the digital agency, because you will be amazed how we use the data, how we collect the data, and how we turn today's data into the actual revenue to the clients. Yeah, so if I give you more examples, if Avrina can go into the next slide, that this is a slide that I pulled from internet. So basically this client actually are selling a product on Shopify in terms of their painting, their footwear. So basically that we always need to tell the client, as in like, you put your painting on the Shopify, and how to get people go into Shopify to look for your paint, you need to launch your Facebook ad, you need to launch your Google AdWords ad. So then we need to start to plan, as in like how people exposed to your Facebook ad or your Google ad on your left-hand side. And then from there, people click your ad and land you to a landing page. And then on the landing page, and then what other ads you need to make sure that people can retarget and go back to the page to make the purchase. So this kind of funnel need to be planned ahead. And this is your day-to-day work when you come to your digital agency or performance agency. So we need to draw this funnel. We need to draw the whole strategy and also the messaging to your clients in terms of how to turn the number into actual revenue. So if Arina can move into your next slide. So I believe that each of you start to ask, so what is my typical day-to-day workflow as a performance analyst? So basically, each of the analysts or executive will join the performance agency. So first of all, they need to spend some time to understand the client business, because to get client to sell things, sell skincare versus to sell a t-shirt online can be very different. So you need to understand why people have a different kind of shopping desire or behavior. From there, you also need to understand a lot of technical specification. So here we talk about working with Meta, working with Google, or working with, let's say, TikTok. What are the different set or the different knowledge you need to understand? And also, because working with all these global platforms, they will have the different way of working. So you need to learn about how to operate this platform, to set up your ad, to push your ad, and also how to optimize your ad. Also, not only knowing about the platform, you also need to learn about the data that you have collected. So based on the data you have collected and how you understand the data, so you can put into your actual strategy planning to optimize in the next campaign. So the data analysis that will also be put into your day-to-day work, that's why you can put into your strategy recommendation in your next campaign. So in a way, this is not a business about talk about numbers. Also, it's a business to talk about understand the shopping behavior, understand how the different platform being work, and understand how you collect the data and you do a recommendation based on the data you have collected. So that would be your day-to-day workflow as a performance analyst. Then your next question will be asking, what is my career path? So it's pretty straightforward. I think this is nothing too different from what Sharon has been sharing with you. So I think in the performance agency world, as I said, we put client services as a middle, who should understand clients' business strategy. And then most of the people actually we start from the digital activation, which is start from your executive, and then work all the way to analyst, and then work all the way to the head activation. And then we also have people to understand data, which is on the data analytics or even business analysts. So basically, this is a nutshell in terms of how the performance agency on your career can grow. Definitely, you can find more if you put your Google search digital performance agency. We get more information, but this will give you a basic understanding about who we are and what we do. If you have any question, you can link into me. I'm more than happy to answer all your questions. So basically, that's all for my sharings. So over back to you, Avina.
Thank you. I think it's a very good overview of what performance marketers do. So now I think our participants are very active in asking questions today. So it's now our official Q&A time. I would like to invite our speakers to share some of the questions. And maybe the first questions that we'll like to ask is, sorry, so load my slides here. Edison, so these are some of the questions that our participants have actually asked during the survey form before. So I would like to direct to you and also some of the speakers. So are there any website that you would suggest for the participant to effectively self-learning the skills required to be a digital marketer?
I would recommend Google, Think with Google and Google Skill Shop. So basically, I think the whole entire performance digital marketing is all start from search first. So in terms of, then you need to understand how the search marketing and display marketing work. So Google actually have prepared a lot of material in terms of how the whole ecosystem works, also understand the whole jargon. So basically, Think with Google or Google Skill Shop. If you go into that, there will be definitely a lot of fundamental course that you can attend by yourself, and also can learn a lot of things as a basic entry. So on top of that, I think on the Facebook blueprint, but that is something only can be accessible by the agency people. So if you join any agency, being as a creative agency or digital agency or even at the performance agency, so actively ask, you get your intern as well. So actively ask your agency to give you that kind of training, because they will have access to it.
Okay, then the next question, are there any strategies for performance marketing in data analytics and interpretation?
I'm trying to read your question in the right way. So I think when you talk about strategy in the data analytics or interpretation, so basically I think the key thing about in our industry is like how you can use your number to tell a story. So 1 + 1 = 2 doesn't mean that you need to tell people that 1 + 1 = 2. So can you make a way to tell people why 2 is matter to you, why 2 is different from the other story? So you always need to have curiosity, like what Sharon had mentioned, to try to always ask yourself questions why this number means to you. And then when you go deeper, then you will be able to uncover a lot of insight in terms of what you can tell to your clients. So I think, and then rule of thumb is about don't read the numbers surfacely, go way deep inside. So usually what I do is I will write down all the question I want to answer, or also I will write down all the questions that client might be asking me, and then I try to use the number to answer those questions, client will be able to understand or not. So those guiding questions will be able to give you a lot of sense to draft your story or to draft your presentation to your client.
Thank you, Edison. I would like to say that all these questions are actually collected during the registration process by the attendees. So this is before they have listened to our talk today. So I know our speakers have answered some of the questions already, but I guess it's good to have a good summary at the end. So Rudi, 2 questions for you. So what is your single best advice for current students to plan for their career?
I think they're asking the wrong person, because I'm not the type of people who really have a like concrete plan before I started. But I always want to stress that you need to find your passion. If you have passion about something, whether it's about numbers, whether it's about creative, whether it's about like you want to like be a journalist, you want to oversee a lot of things. So you need to find your passion. It's not about whether you should do this and then get this. Okay, it won't work this way. It's in the, you know, in the business world, it won't work this way. It's not like doing school things that you have complete this and then you can achieve this. It's not, it doesn't work most of the time. So that's my advice. Find your passion. I think is more important. If you don't enjoy to do it, it's very hard to do a good job. Okay. Professional qualifications. I think for our industry, we most companies, they don't really like pay much attention about the professional qualifications. A lot of us actually, even some very senior people in the industry, they don't really have a professional qualification in digital marketing or whatever. But I think these days there are a lot of self-learning opportunities online that will be really useful, such as Edison already mentioned, especially in the Google world, a lot of certificate actually you can take, like Google Analytics, like I don't know what they call now. They used to call Google AdWords. I think they have some new name, but familiarize yourself with all these digital jargons. I think in the Google ecosystem, you can learn a lot already. Facebook also have some like self-learn online material for both for students and for professionals. But I think the qualification, I don't know, they are working with Hong Kong USD for some for the blueprint program. That's I believe. I think we a lot of Hong Kong's university, we are a little bit backward. Because in some other countries, they are like, even for undergraduate students, they are some of this. I think in Singapore, they have already started learning like the Google system, the Facebook system, take some online course to get the certificate before they graduate, before they land a marketing job, after their graduations. So trying to find some online course like this. There are tons of them. Some you have to pay, some will be free. I think the Google ones are mostly free. So this is my advice. I hope it helps. It sounds not really helpful.
I think your advice are actually helpful. I think most importantly for everyone to actually start taking actions. I think with digital marketing, it's about taking actions. Can I add one more question to you? It's actually from the chat room.
Sure.
Are there any age consideration if wanting to get into this industry?
Can you repeat the question again? Age.
Yes, any age consideration if want to join this industry?
I don't really think so, but it's quite a long hour working environment. So you have to, I don't know what do you mean by age. If you are like 20 something or 30 something, I think still consider okay. If you want to start from like over 40, it will be a bit challenging because of the the energy level and whatsoever, and or perhaps your family obligations will be an issues. But I don't think age is really the issues, more about the person. Yeah, I'm like approaching 60 in few years time, so I'm still working okay. So I don't see ages would be the key issues. I think it really depends on the person.
I think it depends on the energy level. So thank you, Rudi.
Yeah, okay.
So Emily, so
Yeah.
what are the marketing related skills that may impress the interviewers?
Well, usually when I have interview with some candidates, I don't really look at their what they have done or what things they know about. I actually more concerned about the personality, whether they are a very persistent person, whether they are the kind of person that they know they have a clear analytic mindset, and then whether they can tell me tell me any case that can prove how persistent they are. Because I'm actually, to be very honest, I'm a very demanding marketing person. So when I work on the marketing campaigns with my team, I never concerned about their time constraint, their money constraint. I never concerned about that. You can say I'm actually I am cold blood. I don't really care about that. What I care about is actually the result of the campaign. So I actually need a person to be really persistent, and I need them to have a mindset to know that what they need to do is not just to get the work done, but to get the work really well done. Whether they have this kind of mindset, I think the mentality is more important.
I think what you've said, not just applying to digital marketing, but applies in many business disciplines as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this question, the landscape of future generations.
Yeah, the landscape of the future generation for the marketers. I think I actually covered a bit of that because for my slide, I actually talked about what kind of choices they can consider about. But one more thing I can highlight more about is when I look at the marketing today, comparing to the marketing 20 years ago, what is the difference? The difference today is actually the marketing today is more data driven. In 10 years ago or 20 years ago, it's not that demanding. If you're not very numerical person, you can still work in marketing in the past. But now, you really have a very analytical mindset. You really have to tell about, even if this is only a branding campaign, you also have to justify why you have to spend that much of money. But in the past, you can just say, oh, this is a branding campaign, I can measure it. And then you don't need to answer the management question. But nowadays it's different. For every dollar you spend, you make sure you are making profit to the company. I think this is the general landscape nowadays. And in the future, I would say what kind of marketing can win in the market is it depends how automatic a company can really automate their performance marketing and get up to speed to turn and to understand the market response, and then to adjust their marketing planning fast enough. So numbers is actually a very crucial thing in the incoming marketing marketing sector. Yeah.
Thank you, Emily. So some questions for Sharon. So I think these two questions are a little bit similar. So people who are not majoring in marketing and people who can't speak Cantonese, how can they land a job doing digital media, digital marketing in Hong Kong?
Yeah, I would say that's actually no specific request for what your major study should be. There are two parts of hard skill and soft skill. But as a new joiner to the industry, we'll focus on the soft skill. which I've mentioned before, like strong numbers, sense, good communication skill, curious to explore, learn, and try, collaborate, creative thinking. Also attention to details, strategic thinking capabilities, and also can handle multitasking. We will evaluate more on the thought and performance during the interval. This is because for the hard skill part is more on the knowledge. I think this part will be trained up once the candidates join the companies. It will have some like 5 basics, like a training program for the new joiners. And also we have on-the-job training coaching as well. So if for anyone who want to join the industry, is more a preparations and also show their thought and also their say passions to work in the agency. Is because working in the agency is not it's always not a very easy life. I would say it's not very hard, but you need to have passions. You need to prepare that you'll have a longer working hours. So, and you also need to explore and also welcome a new thought and open-minded. So given this I would say given this this kind of request, so it's more on how what is your say how keen you want to join the industry, and we need the demonstrations during the interval. But other than the interview, we used to have a written task. That written task is more actually focused on mathematics things. It's basic calculations, and I have some basic meter concept, and also maybe some wire up for the candidates. So actually, there will be 2 parts that you need to prepare when you go for an interview. But in terms of qualifications, there's no specific request on that. And then for other one is about the language. I won't say it's a barrier, given you just can't speak Cantonese, but you can read Chinese, so it won't be an issue here.
But if they can't read Chinese, is that an issue?
If can't read Chinese, it will limit the account you can serve for. I would say why it may be an issue is because most of the creative assets are mainly produced in Cantonese, and maybe some with some supers, and also the ASEAN. The ASEAN Act copy will be written in Chinese. So if you can read or listen to Chinese, it may not be a very ideal case. I would say not very ideal case. But if you're working for some like regional client, this surely is not an issue.
Thank you, Sharon. So last but not least, I'd like to invite Arthur to finish the last questions and also do a summary for today.
Well, thank you, Avina. So I think it's good to be the last speaker, because we have I have some limited time to speak. Okay, so I guess today we have an honor to have a lot of guests from different backgrounds, different position, different perspective to answering a lot of questions. And I see a lot of questions actually tie in with skills or qualifications. So in fact, I want to give some strict advice here. So in fact, don't worry too much, because whatever types of qualification you are getting in school will be outdated within 3 months after you join the industry. So no worry about that. You have to relearn everything after you join the industry. And for digital, I think we don't really care about your background, qualification, whatever, because we are dealing with something new in the world. A lot of time we are dealing with a lot of unknowns. For a lot of problems or questions or scenarios, no one has solid model answers for us. So we have to define the questions, define the problems by ourselves, and find the answers. So I guess the more important elements we are looking for are the candidates that with open mind, and they are very competitive in terms of, you see we have a large, very wide range of spectrum of capabilities we need. Like you have to be creative, you have to be logical. Somehow it's kind of like contradicting, but still a lot of talents in our industry have very well development on both their left brain and right brains. So they're good at different languages. They could speak 4 to 5 languages. they're good at presentation, they're creative, they're logical, they're strategic. So, and they're detailed mind, and they're hardworking, so on and so forth. So our industry definitely is a very, very demanding and challenging industry. But on the other hand, our industry is very interesting. That means you have the chance to work with top-rated talents in the world, not only in Hong Kong. You only have the chance to co-work with a lot of top-rated brands and clients and partners, technology players. So I think the single most, because I have hired, I think in my career, I've hired over 300 to 400 talents among Hong Kong and all countries in Asia. I think the most important or most impressive elements towards our industry or myself would be the personality. It's not about skills or it's not about qualification. It's about the personalities. People or the person who are nice, and on the other hand, he or she is competitive, will very suitable for our industry. Because if you are competitive, that means you are willing to learn, you have fast learning skills, you could pick up the knowledge, you could pick up the fast pacing momentum in the industry. On the other hand, you have a good personality, means you know how to deal with people. You know how to deal with people from different culture, different backgrounds, different nationalities, right? So I think those two, be nice and be competitive, will be the most impressive elements during your interview. Okay, so for the last question, I think it's about data science. So for this question, I would like to invite one of our guests, Franco, because he is now hiring some data talents. So I think he could give you a pretty good answer for this, for the last question. Franco, please.
Thank you, Arthur. Hi, guys. Actually, I'm head of marketing of HomePlus, and I have a team of data marketers. Just like what Emily said before, for now, almost most of the campaigns actually is very data-driven. Especially, we need a lot of people come from computer science, because there's a lot of job under my team need to require some kind of data knowledge, especially on computer science, including a lot of people may know what actually is a data analyst, as well as business intelligence, business analyst, data engine, or data scientist. And for now, actually, is a new kind of job, which is a MarTech specialist, who is handling all the marketing technologies things for the teams, to make sure that they can build some correlation between data, or they can get insights from data. Because for now, everything is about KPIs, and we need to know what kind of data can drive KPIs. So we need a lot of people understand that have a logical thinking, and especially have knowledge on handling data, like some kind of skill set like SQL or even Python, to draw the data, to extract the data, and then do the transformation, and as well as using the data and to our campaigns through any others, a lot of like Salesforce or even some kind of MarTech, A/B testing, things like that. So I think even though the job actually we are talking about is digital marketing, computer science is a very hot topic in the future of data marketing. So I think that is not a problem, and actually it is an advantage.
Thank you, Franco. I think everyone are very excited and want to get to really try out in the industry. So we sincerely invite you to actually apply for our apprentice program, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more. We actually got over 100 jobs in the industry. So our program include not just work experience. We will also incorporate in some online training, which covers experience sharing, some virtual tour. And also at the end of the program, you'll be receiving some certificate. And most importantly, you do get paid, at least at the minimum wages or more. And here is for some of the jobs, it's not just work experience. I have heard from quite a few employers that they actually want to hire a full-time employees, as they will dedicate some, on-job training. So they want someone to work permanently. So if you are actually graduating this year, we welcome you to actually apply for these jobs. So for more details of the job, please visit our website that you can scan the QR code to look in more, or you can go to our IAB Hong Kong website for more. And here are some of the internship jobs that we are offering. We are going to see. Any mind 55. So it's a lot more. So please scan our QR code to actually understand more. So so if you're interested, so just go up. I saw there's some question. Just apply online. Sending us emails. We will just ask you to apply online. So so if there that's very slow. So we would like to wrap up for today. So are there anything more, Franco, that you Franco, Helen, and Arthur, that you would like to add in? No, it's not it. So and most importantly, sorry, one more thing is that please fill up our survey, because we will scan the QR code to actually let you that you would like to join. So if there are any questions, email us at info@iabhongkong.com. I'm stable. Hear me?
Hello, Elvina. I think the signal in Zoom is not too stable.
Sorry, can you guys hear me now?
I can now.
Sorry, I think it was a bit unstable before. So please the survey, let us know to do more, what kind of companies you know, what kind of knowledge you have. So sorry, the connection was a little bit unstable suddenly. So I'll just repeat myself again here. So please fill the survey so we will know what kind of marketing knowledge that you would like to learn more during the online training, and also what type of virtual company visit and experience sharing that you would like to get. So if there are any other questions, please email us. If there are no more questions, so that will be the end for today. So thank you very much for coming. So next seminar will be same time next Friday, 4:30, with the same link. So at the meantime, have a nice weekend. Stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.